Well, welcome to another episode of Instigator Mick. I am your host, Instigator Mick. Bringing you episode 3. This is week 2 preview. It's a week 2 preview of the NFL, week 3 preview of college football. Let's get into it right now. So obviously, starting off with the recap from last week. I won the pick. I did really well in my college football picks. I went 9-3. Obviously, my buddy Max went 4-8. I finished up pretty strong, I gotta say, this week. Despite Virginia Tech losing, obviously, we'll get into that very shortly. But I did pretty solid, I gotta say. So there's some upset picks. I knew Texas was going to beat Alabama. Some people thought I was crazy for picking against Alabama, but I just had a feeling like this wasn't the same Alabama team they used to be. I see Big Rip has joined. What's up, Justice? How you doing here? Obviously, I lost last night. I was commentating that my cousin Evan's hockey game last night. He plays for the rec league out in Olean. We got beat by the best team in the league. 6-3 was. I'm always commentating those games every Tuesday on Twitch. Last night we had an issue with the Twitch app, so I had to use Evan's Instagram Live. I use West New York Sports Instagram Live. So go follow Instagram. Go follow Big Rippas. Definitely go follow Big Rippas. Yeah, actually, you got some. Always got some good cards up for sale, like sports cards. You have to give a shout out to Big Rippas. But obviously, I knew Texas was gonna beat Bama. I knew it somehow. I just thought because of last year's game, and like I knew it. And I knew Cincinnati was gonna upset Pitt. I called that one. Same as Miami beating A&M. There's some games I sensed that was gonna happen. But now let's get into my Virginia Tech Hokies. Ugh, last week, it was a long day. Like obviously this past Saturday, it started out like pregame, like minutes before kickoff, we had a lightning delay. It's just like a 20-30 minute lightning delay, and then all of a sudden, game kicked off at 12:21. Like okay, we're gonna play. And then like we got like 5-10 minutes in the first quarter. All of a sudden, lightning hits again. We had to go into another lightning delay, but this lightning delay was like a 5-hour, 27 minutes. Unbelievable. I just couldn't believe how long the delay was. Of course, it was 7-0 Purdue at the time when it happened. Then they finally resumed it at 6:15 the game, and then Purdue all of a sudden looked good. They marched down the field, made it 14-0. They kicked the field goal, made it 17. It was 17-0, and Virginia Tech roared back in that second quarter. Tied it up at 17. They were down 17-0, tied it up. No scoring in the third quarter. Wasn't that much action in the third quarter. Like it was all defense that one. And Purdue scored a late touchdown in the fourth quarter, 24-17. Purdue won. So they had some injury issues before that delay. Like a second lightning delay, our top receiver, Virginia Tech's top receiver, went down, Ali Jennings. So and he's out, and he's been ruled out for this week's game against Rutgers. I found out yesterday on Twitter. I'm a journalist from Virginia Tech football. That's according to my sources. Ali Jennings has been ruled out for Virginia Tech. He's ruled out against Rutgers this weekend, and that's the game I'm going to. I'll be attending that game. We'll get into that shortly, but yeah, rough weekend of football for me. I didn't do well in Uncle Mike's pool. I gotta say, I did not do well in my NFL predictions. Obviously, Buffalo Bills, they just really upset me, man. The Bills, the way they lost that game. To be honest, it was one of the most bizarre, but also like entertaining games I've seen. Just had so many different feelings to it. What I'd say. I didn't do well. I mean, I lost my pick of the week as well. The Bears didn't, they didn't cover. They got creamed by Jordan Love. Yeah, I didn't do that well. I got some wins, but I finished with a -5 points. So that's not good. I got to do hot this week. Hopefully, my Uncle Mike's pulled this week. Because my pick of the weeks did not look good. My pick of the week. Jet, you went -3. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Week 1 was a little bit bizarre, I gotta say. A lot of the underdogs kept winning, like covering and all that. It was a rough week for a lot of us in MSP. Hopefully, week 2 I do better. Let's get into this week's college football predictions. But first, before we do that, I'm gonna get in the Bills game. Like I say, it's crazy. I mean, start up bizarre. I mean, Rodgers goes down now with a season-ending injury, possibly a career-ending. They're saying, because I mean he's 39 years old. I hope not. I hope not. But at the same time, I think it's time for him to hang it up. Don't want to risk another injury like that again. That happened. Zach Wilson comes in. Absolutely. You got to make sure they join Uncle Mike's pool. The Bills out. Of course, the Bills look good. I mean, kick the field goal and all that. Defense looks amazing, but the offense, I gotta say, Josh Allen struggled. All his interceptions were just like overthrowing, like in the double covered a lot. He's throwing a double covered a lot. I think Josh Allen's got to improve. Really got to improve this week. Zach Wilson looked better than Josh there, which is pathetic. I'm a Bills fan, but I'm not happy about Monday's game. I'm really not happy about the way they played. Defense looked great. That Jets, you can't take anything away from the Jets defense. That Jets defense is like probably one of the best in the league. And despite the turnovers, we're still in it. Josh made a clutch drive, get the field goal. I mean, somehow Bass kind of got lucky, hit the post, somehow went in. Of course, our only touchdown was Stephon Diggs. Allen Diggs. It was just crazy. Like, I mean, Allen coming up big there. Then we won the coin toss, but we still find a way to lose in overtime on a punt return. Out of all things, a punt return for a touchdown to lose. It is what it is. The Bills are going to bounce back. Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but they're going to bounce back. They're going to beat the Raiders. Let's hope so. Let's get into my week 3 college football picks this week. Me and Max do. My buddy Max do. Here we go. Starting with the Friday game. It's an old ACC rivalry. Now, of course, they're different conferences now. UVA versus Maryland. UVA's 0-2, and you got Maryland. Their starting quarterback is Talia Tagovailoa, Tua's younger brother. I think Maryland wins big. UVA is just young, rebuilding. Maryland's too much for UVA. I got Maryland big time. They win by a lot. Let's move on to Saturday games. Penn State and Illinois. That'll be the big noon Saturday game on Fox. This is a tough road test for Penn State. Remember the last time they played Illinois? 9 overtimes went to, and Illinois pulled the upset in Happy Valley. So this is kind of a revenge game for Penn State. Just take Illinois seriously if I were in Illinois this time. If you want to be a national championship contender. That's the team I picked to win the national title, Penn State, this year. I think Penn State wins, but in a close one. Illinois is going to give Penn State some fits. Penn State barely sneaks out of there with a win. LSU, Mississippi State. This one's an interesting game always because Mississippi State's giving LSU some troubles. How about Deion Sanders, man? I mean, Coach Prime. He is just on a roll. I mean, I'd say they're up there as a playoff team. They got to be a playoff team at this point. And they got Colorado State. That should be a good one. I think Colorado's going to roll over their rivals, Colorado State. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime is going to have this team ready. Especially Travis Hunter. I can't believe how good Travis Hunter is. He's a Heisman hopeful. He's definitely a Heisman candidate already. Same as Shedeur Sanders. I forget about him. Shedeur Sanders is how good he is this year. He's putting up some good numbers, video game numbers. 900 yards passing in 2 games. Unbelievable. He's just playing well. He's definitely making some big changes. And I think Colorado is definitely on the map. He's putting that team back on the map for sure. And College Game Day is going to be at Colorado this week. He's already got College Game Day. He's got Big Noon Saturday there for a while too. It's just unbelievable how much Colorado is starting to change already. Imagine that. Of course, they play Oregon next week. That's right. They play Oregon next week. So that'll be an interesting game. I can't wait for that one. Of course, LSU, Mississippi State. Who I like in that one? It's an SEC matchup. LSU and Mississippi State. I'm gonna take LSU. Even though it's it's on the road. It's in Mississippi State, but I like LSU to win that one. Obviously, they looked bad. They looked rough in that first game at Florida State, but now they're getting back to where they are. Put up 70 points against an FCS team, so they'll beat Mississippi State. But Mississippi State is not going to make it easy. Next, we got Florida State at Boston College. That's a first road test for Florida State this year on the road at Boston College. But then again, Boston College survived the scare from Holy Cross of all teams. Holy Cross, I mean, goodness, they were giving Boston College a very tough game, surprisingly. And they almost lost an FCS team, so Florida State's going to easily beat Boston College. I can't believe Boston College almost lost to an FCS opponent. They only won by a field goal. So I thought like Florida State easily. Next, we move on to an old Big 12 rivalry game. Kansas State in Missouri. And of course, Kansas State, the defending Big 12 champs. I mean, Missouri's in the SEC now, but these two used to be old Big 12 rivals. It's in Missouri, but I like Kansas State this one. I think they have a chance to possibly repeat. No, maybe not, but they're still a good team. I like Kansas State. That was all the noon games. Let's move on to the 3:30 games. Starting with my Virginia Tech Hokies. This is the game I'll be attending this weekend. I'll be at the game in Piscataway at New Jersey. I'll be invading Rutgers territory in my Hokies gear. I'll be tailgating, doing all that. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait to go to that game. Obviously, Virginia Tech star receivers out now. Holly Jennings out with an injury. Their other receiver is questionable. And yet their quarterback too questionable. Grant Wells. So they got an injury bug going on. Virginia Tech's got an injury bug going on. Nasir Peoples is questionable as well. I don't know how they'll be this weekend. I'm still going to take the Hokies, but it's going to be a long game for them. Especially all these injuries. Just hoping at least most of these guys stay healthy. I know Allie Jennings is out, but hopefully Grant Wells. I mean, kind of think we should bench Grant Wells. Ever since he came to Virginia Tech, he's been up and down, inconsistent. His consistency is not that good. I like Kyron Jones. The way he played in the final drive, didn't score, but he was making strides. He was running like most college quarterbacks do, like run too and pass. I would like to start Jones, but I think Virginia Tech could win this one because Rutgers. Everyone's saying Rutgers on upset alert this week. I think it's Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's 7-point underdogs against Rutgers out of all teams. But this Rutgers team actually looks good. I've seen the highlights of them. I saw them play Northwestern a couple weeks ago. They look good, I gotta say. Their quarterback's a dual threat. I think Virginia Tech wins this one, hopefully. Now let's move on to South Carolina versus number 1 Georgia. This is in Athens. This is gonna be an easy pick. I'll take Georgia. Georgia's still for real. They're still the number 1 team. That's why they're defending champs. 2-time defending, trying to go for a 3-peat this year. First time mentioning Georgia this season. Because they've had some cupcake games. They got some easy games. Now they got an SEC opponent now. Of course, South Carolina. They lost their. That's why I'm not picking South Carolina this one easily because Georgia's so too much. Their defense, especially, and they got Carson Beck. He's looking good. He's put up some good numbers. Next, let's move on to the Minnesota UNC game. This is an interesting non-conference game. Big Ten versus ACC. It's been a lot of those, but this might be a tough test for Carolina. It's in Chapel Hill, but Minnesota, they're competitive. Don't sleep on Minnesota. I still think Carolina wins this one. Drake May, he's just a stud. He's definitely ACC Player of the Year, I'd say. But also Jordan Travis is up there too for Florida State. I like Carolina this one. Next, we move on to the Washington Huskies game. Washington is at Michigan State. Of course, Michigan State's it's the first time I mentioned that, but Michigan State's had off-the-field issues this week regarding Mel Tucker. They're suspended or fired. They're having issues off the field. Of course, Michael Penix from Washington, he's looking great. He's a Heisman hopeful contender this year. He definitely is a Heisman. The way he is. First Michael Penix arrived in college football. Remember, inconsistent in Indiana, injury issues too. And of course, when he played for the game, I remember him like when I first knew this kid was gonna be a stud was 2020 when Indiana played Penn State. Indiana pulled the upset, and Penix made that just incredible play for the 2-point conversion to beat Penn State. I just couldn't believe it. It was kind of controversial. I know there's a lot of Penn State fans weren't happy about that one. Obviously, including my buddy Max. He's a Penn State, also Penn fan, but I remember he wasn't pleased about that. So, but I think Michael Penix is going to put up good numbers. That's why Washington's a legit playoff contender. That Pac-12 in general, that conference is like getting some respect this year. The Pac-12 is actually probably one of the best conferences college football, other than the SEC and other. And like the Big 12, I could say, but I'd say the SEC and Pac-12 are the two best conferences in college football right now. Maybe the Big 10, but definitely Pac-12 and the SEC. Either one of those conferences is going to win a national title, but I still think Penn State is going to win it. But I like Washington over Michigan State. Michigan State's got too much drama with their coach and all that. With these allegations of sexual assault or something like that. Give me Washington. Sorry to my Uncle Mike and Nick. I had to pick against Michigan State, but I think it's the right thing because, Washington's the top 10 team. Move on to the next one. Tennessee at Florida. This is always a great rivalry game. The two SEC rivals. This time, last year Tennessee won that one in Knoxville. This time it's in the Swamp. I would say this might be an upset alert, but Joe Milton is going to keep proving that he's good enough for this Tennessee team. I think Tennessee wins, but maybe by a field goal, maybe by 10. They'll maybe pull away late, but I think Tennessee wins in Florida. It's not going to be neat. It's going to be a tough road test playing a tough environment like that. Joe Milton, I think he's ready for that big stage. I think he's ready for it. So give me the balls. Now, next, another one. Syracuse at Purdue. That's the Saturday night game on NBC. Of course, Purdue. I did talk about Purdue early in the show. They beat Virginia Tech. Syracuse 2-0. They're playing some scrub teams, but they're putting up good numbers. Garrett Schrader, he's good. He's back for an extra year, the COVID year and all that. I think this can be a really good game because you got Hudson Card for Purdue. When he played against Virginia Tech, I'd say he was all right. But the Texas transfer, he looked good. But I like Syracuse in this one for some reason. The numbers he's putting up this year, I like the orange. It's not because Purdue beat Virginia Tech. I don't know. I like Syracuse. Boy, they're one of the high scoring offenses in college football this year. It's gonna be a high scoring game between those two. So give me Syracuse on the road, a big road win for them. Last but not least, the last pick of the college football picks for this week is the backyard brawl. Pitt at West Virginia. Last year, it was an instant classic. When they brought that rivalry back last year, it was just an instant classic. One of the loudest, probably like the loudest crowd in Acrisure Stadium history, possibly. One that might be. They're saying like in Pittsburgh Stadium. Same. It's crazy how Pitt Stadium same as the Steelers, but that was the most packed crowd any game in that stadium's history. I think Pitt takes it. Yeah, Pitt is solid still. Phil Dracovic, he is good. He's definitely good. Pitt takes this one. Morgantown, it's a tough one for me. I had trouble with this one because it's a rivalry game, and this time it's in Morgantown. Pitt won last year's game, but this year it's in Morgantown. I gotta take the Mountaineers for some reason. I don't know. I think West Virginia is gonna get the rematch this time. That'll be the Saturday night game on ABC. It's gonna be a great matchup. I like watching these two teams go at it. Got all the backyard brawl. So I like the Mountaineers this week. Now let's move on to the NFL for week 2. Starting with the Thursday night game with the Eagles and the Vikings. That's tomorrow night. And obviously, Evan's an Eagles fan. But the 6.5 is the spread. This is Uncle Mike's pull. The 6.5 point spread against the Vikings. Vikings, though, took a bad loss to the Buccaneers. They lost to Baker Mayfield. The Vikings did. I think he looked decent. I think Baker Mayfield looked good. But in this Eagles-Viking game, I take the Eagles cover the 6.5 point spread. I think the Eagles cover and win the game. They'll win. It's in Philly. Yeah, the game's in Philly. I think it's easy. It's in Philly. Eagles dominate. The Eagles did have a little scare from the Patriots. Good thing they game in Philly. I like the 6.5 point spread in Philly. I think that's a home game for them. Let's move on to the Sunday games. Chargers at the Titans. This is a road game. I had trouble picking this one. I had no pick right now, but now I'm kind of thinking about it. I'll take the 2.5-point spread. The Chargers are going to cover on the road in Nashville. Against Titans, I think the Chargers cover. Chargers took a tough one last week in a thriller with the Miami Dolphins, but they'll respond. They'll win. They'll cover the 2.5-point spread against Tennessee on the road. Next, the Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. Packers are favored by 1.5. This is in Atlanta. Jordan Love looked great. He looked sharp against the Chicago Bears. I gotta say, he looked good. I mean, I was doubting this Packers team last week. I was doubting them. I'll take back some of the things I said about them last week. I doubt the Packers. I mean, maybe, but it's one game, but still, the way they looked, and the Bears just look like worse than ever. Justin Fields, my goodness. I mean, he's not the guy. I thought this was a big year. I thought I can DJ more, but maybe it's tough to get used to the team. But the Bears look bad, like they always do. Falcons defense solid, spoiling Bryce Young's debut. The Falcons won that game last week, but 1.5 spread. Who I'm taking the spread? I think the Packers cover. I'll take the Packers 1.5 spread on the road. I think the Packers are gonna beat Atlanta. Raiders good, but just they could have Cordell Patterson back. The Falcons could have Patterson back. If you have him and Robinson in the same field, oh boy, you have a long day for the Packers. But the Packers got a pretty solid defense as well. But I'll take the Packers. I'll take the 1.5 point spread. Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. A couple rookie quarterbacks going at C.J. Stroud versus Anthony Richardson. Colts are favored by 1.5. Who do I take in this one? It's kind of a tough one because you got two young quarterbacks in a division rivalry game. Of course, the Colts. I thought the Colts were really gonna go. I took the Colts last week. This one's a tough one. Got two of these young rising quarterbacks. I think Richardson looked better if he's able to go because he got injured in the game last week. If he's able to go, I'm definitely taking him. I'm taking the Colts 1.5 spread. I think the Colts look better than the Texans. I'll take them to cover in Houston. They'll go on the road and win. Next, we got the Detroit Lions and Seattle Seahawks. This is in Detroit. The spread is 5.5. The Lions are favored by. I mean, the Lions surprised the world last week, beating the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. And the Seattle Seahawks had a disappointing loss at home to the Rams without Cooper Kupp. I'm going to pick against Seattle again. I think the Lions cover this 5.5 point spread at home. I think they'll look good. Of course, it's a special day for them. They'll be revealing the Barry Sanders statue and everything like that. So I'll take that. I'll take that one. Next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Chicago Bears. Who I like in that one? After that big, Lions are playing Seattle. That's going to be a tough one. Who I like in the Chicago Bears? Of course, Chicago Bears, they look bad last week. They look bad. Absolutely bad. And the Buccaneers, surprising. And the Bucs surprisingly beaten the Minnesota Vikings. I can't believe that still. Vikings look flat this year. But I think the Buccaneers-Bears game, who I like in this one, give me Tampa Bay. They'll cover the 2.5 point spread at home against Chicago. Yeah, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like them. Bears, a lot of work to do. I like Baker Mayfield's got this offense. He's got really good receiver duo in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. But next, let's move on to the Buffalo Bills now. The Bills and the Raiders. The spread is 8.5. The Bills are favored by against the Raiders at home. The Bills home opener, it's going to be the Bills got to respond. After that loss to the Jets Monday night, they got to respond. Of course, the Raiders, they beat Denver. Chicago just looked. Oh, yeah, Chicago definitely looked bad. But the Buffalo Bills, are they going to cover the 8.5 point spread? They will. They're going to respond. They're playing the Raiders. I think they should respond. But the Broncos, the Raiders look bad. Kind of looked bad against the Broncos last week. So I think the Raiders win it. So I think Buffalo covers the 8.5 point spread. Buffalo is going to respond, dominate. Josh got to get his head out of his ass. Definitely got his head out of his ass. Josh got to. So I'll take Buffalo in the half-point spread. So yeah, Buffalo's gonna win. Next, Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. Chiefs are favored by 2.5 in Jacksonville. Absolutely, the Bills gotta do something. I think, of course, will Travis. The question is, will Travis Kelce be back against Jacksonville? Last week, Chiefs were missing him so badly. Mahomes looked all right, but just the reason why the Chiefs lost is Kadarius Toney. And of course, Jaguars defending AFC South chance. This is a playoff rematch from the divisional round. This time it's not in Kansas City; it's in Jacksonville. I was thinking of taking Jacksonville as the underdog. I would take the points, but Kansas City's going to cover. Kansas City's going to respond to, like, the powerhouse teams are going to respond with the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals will respond. So I think the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs in that one. Cover the 2.5. Next, we move on to the Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Ravens, they covered, but they had a big injury loss, losing J.K. Dobbins for the season with a torn Achilles. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they lost to the Browns last week. Bizarre. I mean, Burrow looked terrible. That Bengals team just only scored 3 points. I mean, it's not the same Bengals team that it looked like last week. This is their opener. Who would I take in this one? The spread's 3.5. I'd say it's a close one. I'd say I'll take the points in this one. I'll take the Ravens. A 3.5, because the Bengals are favored by 3.5. I'll take the points in that one. I'll take the Ravens. It's gonna end by a field goal or even 2 points. Even it's gonna end by something like that. Bengals might win this one, but I like the Ravens. That's why I'm taking that one. So one of the 4:00 games, the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Boy, the Giants look bad. Like, embarrassed on Sunday Night Football last week against the Cowboys, getting shut out at home field, 40-0 against Dallas. I mean, Dallas is a great team, but that's embarrassing. The Giants are in the playoffs last year. They should be keeping it close. They should be keeping it close to the Cowboys. No, Dallas dominant. And they're playing against Arizona. Arizona 0-1. I'm surprised. Arizona didn't make Washington cover. Washington did not cover last week against Arizona. It's a tough one. It's the home opener for the Cardinals. Ooh, this is a tough one, but I think Giants cover the 4.5 point spread on the road in Arizona. Giants need to wake up. I think they'll respond. I think they'll make a statement. It's against Arizona, but I think they'll make a statement after losing badly last week. They're going to do better. They'll beat the Cardinals by 5 points or more. So I'll take the 4.5 spread. Next, we got an NFC West rivalry. San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams. Boy, that 49ers team, they dominated start to finish last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Surprisingly. And I took the Steelers. That was a bonehead decision by me. I don't know why I took the Steelers, but I don't know. I thought it looked good. And the Rams, obviously, I took last week to beat Seattle in the spread and us to take the points. The Niners are opened up as 8.5 point favorites, according to Michael Mike's poll. 8.5 point favorites in LA. But I would. It's a tough one because the 49ers did dominate their opponents. I'd say the Rams cover. I mean, I take the points. I'll take the 8.5 point spread. I'll take the Rams. 49ers don't cover. The 49ers will win, but they won't cover the 8.5. I just couldn't believe how good the 49ers looked in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I'll take the Rams in that one. 8.5. I'll take them to be the underdog. I'll put the plus 8.5. I'll take the underdog spread. I'll take that one. Next, we got the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys. This can be a little weird. This is supposed to be one of the biggest games of the week because Aaron Rodgers, like we thought, but now with his injury, I don't know. It's gonna be a little weird. Zach Wilson, Dallas. Everyone expected to be Aaron Rodgers versus the Cowboys, like the Jets and all that, but nah. Dallas looked amazing last week. against the New York Giants. Now they play the New York Jets. The spread is 7.5. Who do I take in this one? I'll think the Cowboys cover it. They dominate another team. But it could be a defensive battle too. Dallas, and New York, probably the two best defenses in the NFL. Go head to head in Dallas. 4:25 on CBS. Jim Nantz will be on the call for that one, and Tony Romo. Supposed to be a good homecoming for Tony Romo commentating in Dallas. I'll take the Cowboys 7.5 point spread. Last 4 o'clock game I'll take the Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos. The spread is 3.5, favored by the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos don't cover. I don't trust the Broncos still. I can't trust either one of these teams, but I trust the Commanders more than the Broncos. I'll take the points in that one. I'll take the Commanders. Denver just looks off, and obviously the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson drama during the offseason. Russell, it wasn't much drama. Like Sean Payton was giving Russell an earful about stuff and all that. The Broncos they're still the same old Broncos, I feel like. So I'll take the Commanders. I'll take the 3.5 point spread. Now to the Sunday night game. Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. AFC East battle. Miami just looked unbelievable last week. Tua Tagovailoa, 464 yards passing against the Chargers. Tyreek Hill dominated. He looked great. New England surprised. They start out rough against Philadelphia, but they made it close. They really made it a close game. Almost had a chance to beat the Eagles. Came up short. It was last week was Tom Brady's appreciation day, so it was a big game all around for that Patriots in Foxborough. This is in Foxborough. Who do I take in this one? The Dolphins are favored by 2.5. I'm gonna think Dolphins cover. They're gonna be too much for New England. That Miami offense in general looks just too much. They're gonna dominate New England. Tua Tagovailoa is gonna have a great game. Tyreek Hill. Also, that Miami defense too looks good. Mac Jones will have some problems this week. This week there's 2 Monday night games. This week a Monday night doubleheader. Kind of technically, there's one on 7:15 on ESPN or like something like that, and then 8:15 on ABC. The one on ESPN, the Saints at the Carolina Panthers. The Saints are 2.5 point favorites. I'm going to take the Saints, and this is my pick of the week. The New Orleans Saints are my pick of the week. It's Carolina. That's taking my pick of the week. The New Orleans Saints over the Panthers. They cover the 2.5 point spread. They spoiled Bryce Young's home opener. Like his home opener. I feel like they're going to spoil it. That game, of course, at 7:15. The 8:15 game on ABC now. The last game, the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The spread's 1.5. Cleveland's favored. This is like a pick 'em. This pick is like a pick 'em. The spread is. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they respond. The Browns look good, but I think the Steelers can't go 0. They can't start the year 0-2. They can't. They're going to do better. They're going to beat Cleveland. I think. So I'll take the Steelers. For some reason, I'll take them. Thank you all for tuning in this week. Make sure to check out next week's show on 1 o'clock. And also make sure to check out every Tuesday night on West New York Sports Twitch for the Lime Lake Dirty Oars hockey team. I'll be the voice. I'm the play-by-play for that. But stay tuned for next week's show. Enjoy your football weekend, and I will tell you next week. I'll talk about how fun I had at the Virginia Tech Rutgers game. See y'all next week. Peace.